My name is Lachlan Watt, and music is my life. And I should probably find a better time to be recording these other than late at night after rehearsals when my voice is all haggard. But welcome to episode number 10. We're officially in the double digits. And according to this week's guest, Matthew Chalk, it's the first time he's ever been a 10. If you're here now, thanks for joining me in this process. And if this is your first time listening, please chuck the podcast a follow, share, comment, subscribe, like, anything to help stimulate the algorithm and get a few more eyeballs over this way. And please consider checking out the back catalogue, as there is probably something else here for you to enjoy. Matthew Chalk, or Chalky as he is known to most, is somewhat of a lord of Tasmanian metal that I've known for about 14 years now, and he has more passion for metal than almost anyone else I know. He is a one-of-a-kind creature that is truly dedicated to the underground.
Like when someone said to me once, I said, I'd love to get Blasphemy Australia, and they said, nah, you'll never get them. I just was like, I love that shit. I love when people say you're not going to do that. That's what I need.
Proving people wrong.
I fucking love it. I love it. But it just drives me. It's not even about like proving them wrong. It's like, okay, motherfucker, I'm going to do this now for myself, even more so, but despite you. And it just puts that fucking coal straight in the furnace, man. It's just like, it feeds me. It makes me forget about other things that are distracting me. It gets me razor sharp. It gets me on the fucking track, man, and I love it. Greases my wheels. I love it. I fucking love it.
We're going to get on to more about Chalky real soon, but first I'm just going to take a minute to let you know that my band Run has a new two-track single out now called Ash Plus Soil. Here's a little taste. My friend from Germany, Paul Siddell, who is known for his work behind the kit with such killer bands as The Ocean, Nightmare, and War from a Harlot's Mouth, provided his skills for this recording, and if all goes to plan, he's going to be the guest on next week's episode. But let's bring it back to Matthew Chalk. From his early days as the original vocalist of Tasmanian technical death metal legends Psycroptic, Chalky went on to become a member of several other projects, including Iciclan and Mephistopheles, and he has some currently unannounced studio efforts that you're going to hear us discuss in this chat. I became quite good friends with Chalky through working with him at Dark Mofo, where he has been curating an epic event of truly cult death and black metal called Hymns to the Dead. I came on board with the festival and started collaborating on him with some crazy lineups from the ill-fated 2020 edition of the festival into 2023, before eventually branching out to do our own thing with an event called Into the Fall that featured headliners Obscura and Gatecreeper. Now, Chalky also runs Southern Extremities Productions, and he has just announced that he'll be bringing Blood Incantation Down Under for a third time this November, with a real left field but strangely fitting support act, Secret Chiefs 3. Together they'll be hitting all the major cities and New Zealand for a total of 7 shows. You can get tickets and dates at bloodincantation.org. Now, this conversation you're about to hear is the third and final podcast that I recorded while down in Hobart for Dark Mofo earlier this month. It's a pretty long one, and it just passed the 1.5 hour mark. I experienced yet another technical error, which kind of meant our flow was interrupted, and the podcast wraps up with a sudden lack of context. But you could say that Chalky has the gift of the gab, so we salvaged it just fine. My name is Lachlan Watt, music is my life, and now I give you my conversation with Matthew Chalk. Cheers. So we're at the end of yet another Dark Mofo. How long has it you been involved in it for these days?
It would be 9 years, sort of 10 years.
How did you enter the fold in the first place?
Indirectly, sort of. I'd been to worked on some Dark Mofo events as a security guard, and obviously I've been booking gigs for a long time. And I went to some of the metal shows, and I thought that it would be useful to perhaps try and find a way to be involved, because they seemed a little bit I wouldn't say tokenistic at all, just not really catering to the actual metal scene, more to the broader metal community, which is nothing wrong with that. It's just I saw an opportunity for the more sort of dedicated people to come, really, just to give them something that we go, wow, that's something they could come and experience. So yeah, I just through Beck, who used to be the media manager at Dark Mofo, she aligned me with Lee, the up until last year, the artistic director and pretty much the big boss of Dark Lab. Just have a meeting, and then it just sort of grew from there. Just sort of an idea, and I put a proposal together, and then just put that show. The first Hymns to the Dead came to its pass, and the sort of result was almost immediate. It wasn't like a huge, it wasn't like it sold out the first year, but it was pretty well attended. But it was just more that I think they saw people in the city swathes of black T-shirts and metal tops, which they hadn't seen at the festival prior. And I think straight away they knew that there was just a little bit of a new crowd and a new angle that was being catered to. And for me, it was just exciting to have what was essentially, in my mind, a festival within a festival, mini festival within a festival. But it was, just the ability to do that in Tasmania. It just never would have happened except for the festival's existence.
So I'm pretty sure my first Dark Mofo was it Tark in 2017? What year was that?
Sounds possible. It would be 2017 or 2018. I couldn't tell you exactly. I think it was that might have been the second one. Yeah, I think that was the second one.
Yeah, it all blurs a little bit for me.
Yep.
What was the first Hymns?
First Hymns was Cold of Fire, Decongregation, Tribulation, and I think Inverloch opened it.
Nice.
Pretty nice. Pretty nice. Straight off. And it was kind of cool because Tribulation put that Children of the Night album out that year or the year before, and I was pretty jazzed on it. And obviously Decongregation are a band that I'd liked for a long time, and I think maybe they just put out Promulgation of the Fall, or maybe that was a couple of years. That was probably a couple of years prior, to be honest, but it was just they take a while between albums, so it probably seemed new, but they'd never had a chance to come out, which seemed obvious. So one of my main focuses with, I'm only part of, a small part of the team. I'm just like a dude just doing what I'm trying to do there. But my dream is just to have bands coming to Australia that have never been here, give them an opportunity that they wouldn't have had. And it's not really me giving it to them; it's the festival. But I'm just saying, like, I'm trying
You're still opening the door for
it.
it.
I'm just trying to turn the screws and do what I need to do. But it's just more, I think there's a lot of great bands in the world that probably never will get the opportunity to come to Australia, or if they do, perhaps it'll be at a great financial loss to themselves. And it's not like any of them are coming here and getting rich anyway. But it's just, I want that opportunity for them, and I also just want to see them. I just want to see it, and if I want to see it, I think maybe a few other people might want to see it, and seems to be true so far.
I was about to ask what your sort of thought process is in curating hymns, and it sounds like you just explained it. It's just the bands you really want to see that you're not going to get a chance to otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, the until this year, which was a little bit more contemporary, generally I try and have one band that's like cult and old, and for the people that have been waiting for maybe even 30 years at times to see, and then I want to have something that's really picked my ears up in the last year or two from that moment, and then I just definitely want to have something else that's a bit more extreme. And I always like to have one band that I really think are just excellent, and I know don't have much of a following out here, but will be real value adding to the actual event itself. And when people come along, they'll walk away and go, "Oh wow, those guys were great." And the amount of times I've done that now, I don't think I've ever had a miss. Every opening band I've had from international opening, they've always been a slightly lesser known band, and every time I've had that many people say, "Well, it was either their favourite or one of their favourites of the night."
So that was Slime Lord this year.
Slime Lord this year. Some people I don't know if there was a slight technical issue at the start where some people were saying that they couldn't hear certain stuff. I don't know if that was true because I didn't notice that at all myself from where I was standing. But yeah, I had a lot of people saying, "Wow, those guys just were insane," and they were.
I'd never actually listened to them before and was quite impressed.
Yeah, they're awesome. Yeah, so 3 of the guys in that band play in a band called Cryptic Shift, who we had on a little thing we put together a few years ago. And I knew they had Slime Lord going, and they were, we'd love to come play Australia. And I kept thinking, I don't know when the opportunities for that's going to be, because unless I did another, festival of my own or something like that, it wasn't really going to be possible. And then, just sort of the opportunity opened up on this year's hymns lineup. I mean, if it was up to me, I'd just triple the budget and have just heaps of crazy bands playing, but it's not realistic. So it's just,
we tried that.
Yes. But yeah, it was I tell you, it was, they were sick. I knew they were going to be sick, and their new album's awesome. And I'm not going to try and pronounce it. It's words that probably are real words, but I know a lot of words. My vocabulary is somewhat okay, but it's not, whatever. But it's a good album. Just check Slime Lord's all you need to know if you're watching this and want to see them. They were, killer. And just the stage show is great. Lots of antics and lots of headbanging, and like Xander, the guitarist, gets real low, does some crazy low headbanging, which really I like.
I was really impressed with Imperial Triumphant's live show. I didn't realize how kind of whimsical it was going to be. Like, when a band has masks like that, and music like that, I just expected it to be kind of like a dead serious, relatively static thing. But it was, how would you describe that atmosphere that they brought? It was unusual.
Theatrical.
Yeah.
It was very theatrical, especially the bass player.
It was kind of like, almost like they were jesters.
100%. Yeah, it's weird because I'm the same as you. Obviously I've been listening to Imperial for a long time and pretty much like everything they've done. Some albums more than others, but I don't think they've ever done anything bad, to be honest. I think everything they've done's been at least above a good level. Some albums are, I think, elite, and I love the way they look. I love it. I love it. I adore it. I think the masks look amazing, especially Zach's mask looks so cool. Obviously they're very into their Art Deco period. That's their kind of angle, and the gold looks awesome, and the gold on the guitars. Like, it's a very visually pleasing aesthetic, but musically it's kind of like it kind of marries very well, especially with some of the, like, I don't know if it's like a vocoder, but he uses some kind of like voice effect, and he speaks over certain parts, and it just it elicits a very kind of ethereal, dreamlike sort of state. I'm watching it and I'm kind of like, I know it sounds weird and it's just an obvious Art Deco thing, but like sort of like, is it, what's that game, the computer game? Is it BioShock or the other? Oh, it's one of the ones where
BioShock, definitely, like the retro future, Fallout, that sort of shit.
Yeah. So it really, yeah. So that,
did you know what the Gold Star thing actually is? I was chatting to Zach about it the other day.
I did know, but I'm not going to pretend I remember right now.
It's a fictional cigarette brand that he made up for that album, and that jingle in the middle, when I first heard it, I was like, they've sampled this from somewhere, but they got someone to write a jingle from an imaginary cigarette brand from like the 50s or something.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's can't think of anything that's I could compare to that in the death metal landscape.
There's a few. Like there is a few things, but that's they've definitely got their own angle, and it definitely, there's a bit of a, like, pomp to it. I think the bassist Steve, I think he does a lot of interesting stuff, flailing arms and whatever. But yeah, there's a very theatrical element, a very sort of you could be at like a, I don't know, like a rally of some kind, like they're trying to like get the masses to respond, bit of call and response, but not really. But yeah, live wise, excellent, musically excellent, really, really different energy. I was initially a little bit, because like, I'm really, how I curate the night or the order of the bands is usually obviously down to me. Once the bands are here, I have, very little to do with how things are beyond, just pulling a few levers on if they ask for something specifically, and I think it needs to happen. If they can't do it themselves, maybe I will. But But, I just try to make sure they're okay once they're here. It's all the festivals doing everything. I'm just watching what they put together. But the one thing is the order of the bands is generally down to me. And Holder did such a great job. They were so sick before that. I was like, how's Imperial going to match up to that? Not that I thought they couldn't. And initially it was like, well, this is such a different energy. But then once I kind of like, I get it now. I got it already, but you know what I mean? I was like, yeah. And then it all made sense. And then it was fine. It was a perfect way to end the night. And then
Hims has always been sick like that, in that it's always felt like watching 4 headline bands in a row to me.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do. And like I said, even the opener, the other year, I don't know, I think Catilis might have opened, and they just just almost stole the show, to be honest. They just absolutely went out on stage and just went insane. And it was just, I still think that's one of the best live things I've seen for a while. And hopefully would like to see Catilis back in Australia sometime. That would be cool. Yeah.
So you're, I guess, somewhat of a Australian metal legend, like Tasmanian. I don't know, like Scepter of the Ancients is an album that's the key album that got me into death metal. Is that something you have heard much in your life?
Yeah.
I guess specifically in Tasmania would be for a lot of people.
Worldwide, to be honest.
Yeah.
But especially in Australia. Tasmania, Tasmania, that album was out 22 years ago. And it's been a long time since, but I'm not going to lie, like, this is no fabrication, but at least weekly I have someone I've never met before approach me to talk about at least my time in the band or specifically that album.
Yep.
And then at least once every fortnight I'll have someone from around the world message me randomly on social media to talk about that album. And I'm not exaggerating. That happens. That's as a minimum, and it happens all the time. And it's not bragging. It's
just fact.
Just fact. And it's actually crazy to me that, well, it's not crazy. It's exactly what I wanted. Like, it's exactly like, not that, but I mean, when I write music, when I'm in any music that I'm doing, I'm not just writing. I am writing it for me, but I'm also writing it because I think it's worthy of hearing, and I want a lot of people to hear it, and I want it. And I don't write lyrics and stuff that's just tokenistic. Like, I'm writing something that means something to me, something that I've created. Nearly every lyric I've done is either a fantasy that, like a fantasy scenario that I've created, or it's something that's a fantasy scenario that's actually masking a deeper story, which is most of the Psycroptic lyrics are. They're two-sided. Every single song on Scepter, for example, has a double side to it, double meaning.
What's the double meaning to the title of the album itself? Will we ever get to know?
Not the title,
right?
But the Scepter from Jargulon has a secondary meaning. Not the title itself, but the song, the lyrics within have a double meaning as to what they're about. They're not just about the fantastical adventures of Dilthor Nagilon or whatever the hell his name was. But it's I think that's his name. It's like there's two Gilons in that, but I can't remember which one's the one that's actually acting because it's been so long since I've read my own lyrics.
I haven't read them in probably a decade. I can't even remember what any of those songs are about at all.
I remember what they're all about, but just that specific piece of information is poor. It was, there's a like I said, there's a deeper meaning to that song and every song on that album. So I write songs with lyrics that I think I would dream that they would be timeless to a degree. I try and write them so they're not too reflective of the moment and just more reflective of a greater human condition. I hate that. Every band's like the human condition, man. It's just
society.
Yeah, man. Like it's so like, sorry, like a lot of people say that they're writing that, but they're not. They're just saying words that are, they've read in the papers. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, wherever they get it from, but I'm not trying to say I'm like elevated above that at all. I'm just saying, from my personal opinion, I'm trying to write lyrics that are going to, if someone takes the time to read them, it's going to sink in and take hold, and you're going to want to read them again.
So tell us about how you actually got involved in Psycroptic in the early days. Like, how did it all come together for you? How did you join the band? How did you team up with the Haleys?
how to tell this tale without deepening my own lore. No, but
No, that's what this is all about.
All right.
We're deepening the chalky lore.
Well,
the world needs to know.
To tell you about that, I've got to go back to an older time, a different time, a time when I was just a young lad. No, so I was a teenager, and I had my first ever band, proper band. I was in a few little, so I didn't really know anything about whether I wanted to be in music. And when I was a kid, I was a classically trained piano player. Right? That's how I started music. My parents forced
me too.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. That's another thing to learn.
I was piano, then I was trumpet, then I taught myself how to play drums, and then I realized getting proper drums was going to cost money I didn't have, and was like, someone's got to sing on this, and that's how I ended up doing that.
All right, that's a way shorter timeline than I'm about to give you.
All right, let's go.
You've just showed me how it's done. I just did. My parents forced me to play piano, so I never stuck with it. But I was unfortunately very good at it, and I was supposedly a prodigy at piano. And I probably could have done something with that, but it's not a cool instrument to play. In hindsight, I wish I kept playing it and just done another 5 or 10 years and just managed to, I don't know, whatever. But I just sort of got to grade 7 at school, grade 8 or whatever it was. I was 12 years old. I'd been playing piano for 6 years, and I'm like, I want to learn guitar. So then my parents they organised a guy to teach me guitar. He didn't really know what he was doing. He sort of knew. I went to about 6 lessons, I think, maybe 12. I don't know. It was a short period of time though. And the one thing that he never taught me was that the notes on the guitar are the same as the notes on a piano. I know that might sound very obvious. I know notes have got the same names, but I just thought this is a guitar A and that's a piano A, and it never did it sort of cross my mind that I could have taken the sheet music from a piano or at least transcribed it to a guitar music and been playing the same. Like I could have actually become a way better guitarist had I understood that. So my first 6 years of playing guitar, I was just like playing chords and never learned how to play leads or nothing because I just couldn't put those two things together. Because that guy never really explained that. And it now looking back at that, it just seems so mentally feeble that I couldn't get my head around it. But I was 12, I was 12. I just went.
Do you remember what the penny drop moment was with that?
I remember what the penny drop moment was. It was probably when I was 17 or something or whatever, and hanging out with dudes that actually understood theory, and me saying, something about guitar notes and piano notes. And I knew they were the same note because I'd played in bands where there was a keyboard, but I just didn't understand that when I say the notes, I should be more specific. The scales are the same. That is what I didn't understand. And that I could have played a piano scale straight onto the guitar. And that just never came to pass. So I probably, and then I learnt the knowledge and never learnt the theory because I'm like too late now.
Yep.
Because I was already into vocals by that point. So I played guitar a little bit, and then basically when I was 13 or 14 or something, I started hanging out with a bloke, Gonad, right? Gonad and Dirk, and they were doing this little jamming on some stuff, mostly Metallica, whatever, and they wanted to start a band, and their older brother, Gonad's older brother, Boner.
There's so many fucking good Tasmanian metal names.
Yeah, dude. It's a relentless scenario. I could just name them all, but yeah, Boner. So Boner got Gonad into metal. And I was already listening to metal, and then he sort of showed me a bit of heavier stuff. And I went to his house one day and we were just like, let's have a jam. So we had a jam, and it was fucked. Like my vocals sounded fucked. We just recorded on a tape deck and listened to it later. Horrible. So they said, see you later. Off you go. Like, you're no good. You can't be in our band. No worries. So I spent the next 18 months just practicing, listening to all that was when I was on my journey of like discovering metal and discovering different metal and broader metal and extremer metal and heavier. And I just remember I said, I'm going to come back and I'm going to be like sick. I'm going to actually work my vocals so that they're like.
I'm going to prove you cunts wrong.
Well, yeah, fucking hell. Well, I wanted to be the best vocalist on the planet. Like not that, not to anyone else, just to myself. I just thought if I can get myself to that standard, and obviously I wasn't at 15 and I'm not now, but I'm just saying I wasn't anywhere near it then. But what I did do was I had this really low vocal that was like insane, and when I broadened my voice, I lost that depth. I can still get it if I just focus on the depth. As a problem with my vocals, there's so many different noises I can make and sounds that the more
But they sacrifice other areas when you push into other stuff.
100%.
Yeah, I've found that with my vocals. Like I just can't do the guttural lows like I used to because I've just focused on the mids and the highs for so long.
Yeah, and you can get them back. It's just then they go, or to do it all. This is well. I'll get into that. I'm not going to go down that path now.
Yeah, we're trying to talk about how you got to.
Yeah, sorry.
Psycroptic.
So I was about to go into the ups and downs of the vocals, but yeah. So anyway, so I started this band Hemlock with Gonad. We did a couple of years with it. So when I came back, I said I'll show you, and they were just like, nah, man, you shit. And then I was just like, fucking all right, and jumped on the mic, and they were just like, shit. So we did a band for a few years, did some jamming, did a little demo thing that never really got released or anything.
What was this band called?
Hemlock.
Oh, yep.
And then right at the end, just before I stopped, so we had something, the drummer, so Durkin left, and the drummer from Zero, who now drums for Pulverized Cranial Matter, he joined us, and that leveled us up. And then we got Chris on bass from Intense Hemorrhage. And Zero had been playing drums in a band called the Nameless Ones, and we were all massively into them. And then he came to us, and it was sick. And I realised we had a higher level of where we could have got to. Like the band was good, like it was fucking good. And we're all like 16, 17 and playing pubs and doing whatever. And I just remember one day talking about what we could do as a band, and them being like bemused and also not really that interested. They just wanted to play metal. They weren't really that, like this idea of getting on the radio and touring interstate and maybe even overseas or any of these things was not in there.
They just wanted to jam and drink beers.
More smoke bongs.
Yep.
That was our poison, and other things too. But bongs was the primary thing, and we drank nearly every day, but we more enjoyed getting stoned. So back in those days, which I don't do at all now, obviously. But so then I was getting involved with some kind of like bad shit in Burnie, just hanging out with criminals and getting involved in some stuff that was kind of, I knew my life was going to go a different way. And I said, I'm going to move to Hobart to study auto engineering. And within a few months of being down here, I went to my first gig. And there wasn't much of a metal scene then or many bands playing, but there they were. It was M.S.I, or the previous, like the early incarnation of M.S.I. They played, I think, the same night, but then Disseminate played. So Disseminate was the band with Joe and Dave Haley prior to Psycroptic. And I saw them, and they were fucking good. And I've told this fucking story before. Dave Haley's told this story before. But I said something supposedly insanely arrogant that night. So I come up and I said something along the lines of, like, complimented them. Great, because they were sick. That was a sick band. Loved that band. Said something about pretty cool, probably could do with a better vocalist or something like that. But Delta, who did the vocals, she's great. She was awesome and totally suited the band. And I never wanted that. Like, it was never like I was saying I was going to replace her or whatever, because it was never the same band. Disseminate ended and then Psycroptic started, so it was never like that at all. But in that moment, and then Dave said something like, "Oh, can you do vocals?" or something. He said something. I just can't remember the exact phrasing, but I said something like, I don't know, like something like, "You haven't heard me yet," or I don't know. There was some
just some big note shit.
It was big note. And it turns out it was not an incorrect big note, because they heard me and obviously decided it was whatever. But anyway, so I was full of myself back then. I was mega full of myself for a few years, to be honest. Not in every way. I was still, like, as I've always been my whole life, a very self-conscious person, and very dealt with like what most people do with depression, bullshit, stress, anxiety, whatever. Feel like a fucking flog half the time, but the one thing I knew I could do well was vocals, and I wasn't ashamed that I knew that I could do them well.
Yeah.
I still would consider myself 5,000 steps below any of the greats, but I just knew that I could do well for what people were doing around the traps at that time. But I was, at the time, the best vocalist in Australia was Spills from Intense Hemorrhage. He set the bar as far as in my opinion, and so like he was a big sort of inspiration for me to get better and better, because I'd see them play and I'd be like, fucking hell, this is how you level up. And I'd never had the energy on stage or anything, I never would, that he did, but I just thought I've got to do the vocal thing and push beyond. So anyway, so then they'd written these couple of songs that I think, because Lee that used to play bass, he had a lot to do with the band and the writing, the whatever, and he didn't really like these new ones, and so they had these couple of songs that were kind of going begging. And so I think Lee was away. So it sounds like a dirty cheater, but Lee was away. He used to do sound for the Sea Scouts, and they were in Europe touring. And Lee went away, who was the bass player for Disseminate, went to Europe, and then we're like, let's have a jam, because there was no Disseminate jamming.
So you and Cam slipped in?
Yeah, so I had a jam. I don't think Cam was in there initially. I think it was just me, Joe, and Dave, and we had a jam. And obviously we knew, because the thing is, there was a few times where I got up on stage with Disseminate and sang. There was one song that they did which I loved, and I used to get up and do. There's even some footage of it online actually, of me getting up and singing and doing some and guest vocals. And so I loved the music. I thought it was such a sick band, and I was like, they were like my favourite local band at the time. And so you know, I already hung out with them, and I used to go to their house and fucking, you know, we'd listen to metal. We'd do what people used to do, which I think is it's missing from the world of now, is sit around and listening to fucking metal together and going, wow, that's cool, or wow, that's shit, or just discovering things in a more interesting way than just getting bombarded with too much shit and not knowing what's good and not caring anymore. But yeah, so then we had a jam, and then we were talking about who we'd get for bass, and Cam was playing, you know, guitar in a band called Phantasmagoria, which had Pepiot in it, and a couple of other guys that we all know around the scene down here. And they said, I think Cam would be the guy, because him and Joe had this thing, Dionysus, this little side project. And so then they were like, let's get Cam in on bass. And he was a guitarist playing bass, which you can see very obviously in the early videos. Yeah. He's a guitarist playing bass. And he came in, fitted straight away, good personality. Great, he's a great bloke, Cam. Really like him. And you know, sad that he's not still in the band, because it was cool when it was still the three OGs. But anyway, he has other things to do, and he can't dedicate that much time to touring. But yeah, top bloke, and yeah, so then it just fit straight away, clicked, bang, done, and we never looked back. Well, they looked back a few years later, but anyway.
Yeah, so you did 2 groundbreaking records with Psycroptic, and then parted ways. What led to that?
The tale I've told only a couple of times, but it's always...
People always are still curious, right?
Yeah, always. Everyone wants to know. I've got the short version, the long version. I've got all the versions, and I've got the lie versions as well. Yeah. But essentially, it was probably inevitable, because in the, you know, and this is the thing. This is all from obviously from my perspective. Dave may have different opinions on what actually happened. This is, I'd say, mine are. You know, I'm not scared to make myself look foolish or tell people the truth about things that are true. I don't care. So, you know, I'm just saying how I perceive them to be. I'd say they're fairly accurate, but they maybe they're not. I don't know. But basically, there was the original shakiness that led to probably what eventually happened was that there was an opportunity to tour Europe, right? And we got offered to. Dave and I, I need to go back a bit. Dave and I used to manage the band together, right? We used to run everything together, all the promo stuff and all the stuff. And we had our own sort of individual roles, but no one ever told us what to do. No one ever, whatever. We did all our own bookings and all our own shit, all our own merch designs, all our own stuff. Like everything was done very organically and very naturally within the band. And it was cool. You know, we designed our own album art and stuff. We had our mate do the painting, or my mate really doing the paintings. And, you know, I'm just going on record. I designed the logo. I drew the logo. Joe did one slight alteration and cleaned it up, but it's my design. I've still got the original drawings. I don't know. It's some sort of point of conjecture there, but 100%, that's just the way it is. Anyone saying anything else is lying for some other reason, and I don't know why they would. But and so, you know, we were very much a hands-on band where we just wanted everything to be touched by us because it all meant so much. You know, we went to the Tasmanian wilderness. We tried to like do something different. Go out and get photoed in the nature, which a lot of bands didn't do. It was more like, you know, fucking warehouses and bloody industrial sites, you know what I mean? So we were just like, let's go to nature. Let's not wear band T-shirts in our photos, not because we didn't want to support bands, just because we wanted to have a different. So we were it was a real little micro system, whatever, of like it was such a little
You really cared about every little detail.
every detail. I loved it. I loved the band. I loved being part of it. I loved helping create it. And I loved working with Dave. Like at the time, I would say he was as close as I would have had to a best mate. So I was friends with all the guys. I was probably the hardest one to be around. I reckon I had a lot of drinking problems in the beginning, and just drank all the time and smoked a lot of weed and whatever. And even though it never stopped me getting things done, it was probably might have been off-putting for them sometimes if I turn up drunk at 10 a.m. But I'd do it. I'd still do the jamming and whatever. But anyway, I think they found it amusing sometimes too that I was drinking goon at 9, 10 a.m. But like rolling out of bed and straight into the goon box. But yeah, so we got through and we did all the touring and we did a lot of shows over those years and it was great. And then just one day this opportunity to go to Europe, which is what we all wanted, what I wanted 100% my whole life. Since I was a kid, since I started doing metal, I was like, I want to play overseas 100%. Like that was the dream. And it's a known fact that I don't like flying. It's a known fact. That is not why I didn't go to Europe. Absolutely not. I don't like flying, right? I don't like it. I'm not a very good flyer. I've flown a lot. I've probably literally flown 200 plus times in my life. So when I need to fly, I will fly. It's just the way it is. I will do it when it needs to be done. I don't like it, but I will do it. I've come to realise in latter years it's more to do with I don't like being locked in a closed space with a lot of people. It's not even about the flying itself. I just don't like being there and not being able to get out of it. It's probably a control thing. Who knows what it is, but I do not like that experience. I don't really like being on any situation like that.
Yeah, I think claustrophobia is not that uncommon.
No. So it's a whole variety of things. And so what happened was I had gone through we're getting real here, man. I'd gone through like a breakup that kind of fucked with me a little bit. It wasn't like that bad of a breakup. It was actually kind of cool because it needed to happen. But but I was just like it just thrown my brain into whatever.
I've never heard someone describe their breakup as being kind of cool.
It was kind of cool. It had to happen, bro. It had to happen, but it's still when I've been with someone for a few years. I wouldn't say I'm a codependent person, but I do rely on that other person for a lot of things. And when they go, I'm not very good at just orchestrating my own life. I'm
got a bit destabilized.
And so I've had a long history, and this is something I never talk about because I don't give a fuck to tell anyone about it, but it's important for the story. I've had a long history with mental issues, and like I haven't seen heaps of people, but there's been significant patches in my life where I've had to go and see psychs, right? Whether it's a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Sometimes medication's been advised. I've never taken any until recently. I don't really like being reliant on anything to keep myself plateaued. So I'd have some pretty extreme times where I was probably just like mad depressed, but I didn't really know how to deal with that or access that. And so, I was just in a real fucked up headspace, and I was seeing a psychologist I was just seeing a psychiatrist at the time, and they'd advised that I don't go and travel anytime. They said give it, like they wanted me to see them for a few months and then travel. And I kind of was going to almost do it anyway. And then I thought, I didn't want to hold the band back. So I said, look, why don't you just go if you really want to do this tour? Because I was like, can we just wait? Can we just wait 2 or 3 months and do a different tour? Because I didn't really think the tour was like that awesome anyway. I thought it was like probably going to be a bit of a fucking money burner anyway. But Dave and that would just determine, I think it was like Dismember and I don't know who else, but anyway, Anata I think it was, Dismember and Anata. And I thought it was probably like, it was cool. I mean, Dismember, a band I loved when I was young, so it was kind of cool, but I was just, can we just wait a few extra months and go on a different tour? Because I want to get my head right before we go away. If I'm going to take a 24-hour plane flight, I need to have my head in the right space. And they were like, Dave was like, oh, we really want to do it. And so I thought I was doing a good thing by saying, look, just take someone. If you really want to do this tour, take someone else. I probably thought they would say no, we won't. But then they're like, oh, really? Who do you reckon? And I actually suggested Pepiot because like I knew he did vocals, not really similar to me, but me and him were playing in bands together. So we were good mates. We were playing in bands together already, little side projects, and he was in M.S.I, which I joined by that point. And And they were like, oh, yeah, maybe. So anyway, they went on tour with him and then they come back and I guess they had a good time.
Yeah, I guess you guys, I'd say, have fairly different vocal styles, but there's something about your energy that I think is quite similar, or at least well matched to Psycroptic.
Yeah, like we're a couple of fuckheads, really. Like we're we're just a couple of buffoons, really. But yeah, he's a great front man and whatever, and you know, like I don't know what the inner workings of Pepiot are towards me, but I think we're pretty good with each other. We always see each other and talk, and we were really really good mates. And unfortunately, our friendship was a bit more separated because of because of Psycroptic, and it was nothing to do with me and him. It was just to do with that. So, but anyway, so they went on tour. I guess they had a good time, but it was never spoken of really. They just come back, and I could sense the energy was different. But who knows? They come back. We did a handful of shows. We did Metal for the Brain in fucking Canberra and Brisbane, I think. And we went. I can't remember if that was the fucking year we went to Perth, but I know we went to. So I flew. You know, it proved that I fucking fly anywhere. I fly to Perth for a fucking weekend of insanity, and that's when they met the Soundworks boys. So that was kind of where that all started. But so we went over there, did that. And we come back and I remember we'd been talking about going to America, and I was 1,000,000% committed to going to America. Like, there's no way I wouldn't have gone, and because that was where I really wanted to go. Because I really wanted to go to Europe, but the US, I saw the US market as a more tangible market, especially because we were signed to Unique Leader Records. So that's an American band. A lot of the bands we were listening to, and a lot of the tech death bands right in that moment, you know, Disgorge, Deeds of Flesh, whatever, a lot of those bands were coming from the US, and I thought that'd be a fucking cool place to tour. And so, so me and Dave both had access to the Psycroptic email. He didn't know that I had. Well, he probably just forgot that I had access, because why wouldn't I? But why wouldn't I? Because we set it up together. But anyway, and I remember I saw an offer come in to tour America, and
you never got told about it. Is this what happened?
So he never mentioned it, and all I know we'd been talking about waiting for an offer, and every other week we're like, oh, I wonder when this offer's going to land. And he said, oh, I'll let you know, right? And then I just thought, fucking hell, they're taking a while. And I thought, I'll just go in and I'll send a message and see what's going on. But then I saw an email and conversations about, oh, we'll let you know. We've got some wording along the line. We've got a few things to sort out this end. No specific relation relative to Pepiot or whatever. And so I went over to the house. Oh, I called Dave up and I said, we need to have a chat, bro. And he's like, oh, what was that? And I said, well, I just had a look in the emails and I could just hear it, you know, fucking. So he's like, yeah, all right, no worries. When do you want to do it? I said, fucking now. He goes, oh, well, but we need everyone to be here, so I don't give a fuck, bro. Get him here. And he said, oh, I think Joe's here. I said, we'll get him, and we're just going to have the chat. So I went over, had a chat. It was pretty fucking weird. We talked for a bit. I could see that they sort of said, oh, you know, we had a pretty good time with Pepiot, whatever. One of the ironies was that I gave up drinking to try and be a better frontman, a better singer, and just to be more...
Just a better person?
Yeah, just better, I guess, whatever. And then that's when they sort of started drinking. And the other thing, sorry, go back to go forward. I've righted the tense, but I'm going to fucking ruin the climax. The other thing was, right, when we went on that tour, when they went on that tour to Europe, right, they all lived with their parents, all of them, right? They had no bills, no nothing. I had bought a house, was paying bills, whatever. So I couldn't just up and leave for like a month. You know, I had that anyway. I was on the dole, but
How'd you buy a house on the dole?
I had work, and we were earning money in the band.
Yeah.
So the band was making money, and pretty good money. So there was money in my bank enough to get a loan, because loans weren't as hard to get as they are right now. And the house only cost me $90,000. So, you know, like, it was not that hard. Different time. So, so I had bills to pay, man. So like that was another part of it too. But anyway, point being is, get back to that point, and we're sitting down, we're talking, and sort of it's all coming out and whatever. Oh, we had a good time. We're just sort of, yeah, I don't know, man. Don't know if it's working. I don't know, whatever. Now, I could have easily dug my heels in. Like, I brought the name to the band, even though it was my friend that came up with it. I brought the name to the band. I wrote all the lyrics. I could have been a fucking cunt about it. I wasn't going to be. And I asked a real simple question. I said something, I'm going to paraphrase because it's a long time ago, but it was along the lines of, do you want me not to be in the band, or do you want me to leave the band? Is that what your preference? Like, and then I sort of recalibrated, and I said something like, do you not feel like you want to be in a band with me anymore?
Yep.
And they both looked real funny, and I think it was actually Joe who sort of was like, "Oh, I think that's or whatever," but basically said yes, and I was right. No worries.
Yeah, if Joe's the one being assertive, then it's serious.
I just got up and fucking left. I can't remember exactly what happened, but there was also an agreement for split royalties and stuff, but that never happened. So anyway, I left, and that was basically it. We had a couple more discussions about a few things, and there was a few things that was owing to me and to my parents, because my parents loaned us heaps of money for the band, so they got paid out what was owed to them for the most part. And then I just was like, yep, cool, no worries, and fucking, it was pretty distressing. Because like nowadays you see like a fucking 40-page paragraph with heavy hearts, our bass player has been in for 6 months, leaving the band. Like, I know 6 years isn't a long time in a life of a person in a way, but 6 years.
In those formative early years, it's a significant period.
Yeah, well, it was literally a quarter of my life. And a quarter of my life and everything, and every day was, I was ensconced in Psycroptic, like every day, whether it was pushing this or promoting that or talking about this, and actually it was kind of irritating to have my life so wrapped around one thing. And every time I had anything else to do with my other bands or my other projects, it always took a backseat. So, so look, in a way it was cool because I ended up doing other stuff afterwards, which I'm happy with. But and I'm fine. Like I said, I've said to a million people, I couldn't give a fuck because I wouldn't be doing all the touring they've done. We wouldn't have done as much touring. I think the band would be still fine and probably even bigger than it is now, just because I think I would have been pickier with what we did than what they have been. And that's not a criticism on them. They've done a lot of successful shit. So that's eye of the beholder. But no, I'm glad that that was it for me, because I think it would have come to a head anyway. Like, I think like Dave and I are both like running the show with what we do. So maybe as we got a bit older and got a bit more sort of not set, but just I think that
it's very difficult for bands to have two strong-willed people with vision trying to pull it in different directions. Yeah,
like Dave was always more financially driven, and I was always more like about what we were doing, like the cult side of it, or the ethos of it. Should I say? That's we weren't really a cult band, but the ethos of it. So, and that's not, like I say, once again, I keep saying this. I don't like to just continually say, in my opinion, whatever. But that's how I see it. Dave had a financial drive, and I had more of a. And I like making money. I like to earn money. I like to just to live, because living without having to scrounge for money is good. But yeah, so I think it was a very.
Yeah, I think Dave's always just wanted to make a living, being able to play drums, and all the more power to him.
Yep, good on him. And yeah, I just think that was, we had a lot of disagreements because of that anyway. So we'll get into the point where I was like, I don't want to do this show because it's shit, and half the bands suck. And that's not once again not a criticism on the bands. It's just I wanted to hold ourselves up to a standard, and there was even some events where it was like bands that were sort of, there's a bit of that was trying to come into Australia, that whole pay to play thing. Starting to happen here as well. A couple of the opening bands were getting, and I saw that coming from America, and I fucking never in a million fucking years would I play a show where any band has to pay to be on beyond having to pay to get there in like a festival scenario. So that but whereas Dave was more okay with that. And that, once again, that's his choice, whatever, but I never would. So those sort of, we're seeing things in a different light, would have come to him. Yeah. So that's the long version of how I became a vocalist and got into Psycroptic, and how
it ended for you.
Yeah, and it was, I guess it was, they say it ends with a whimper, not a bang. That ended with it was a pretty good bang.
Yeah, obviously there's a lot of emotional baggage and all sorts of complicated relationships tied in with that whole situation, but it must still give you some sort of sense of pride or satisfaction seeing that logo to this day, just like traveling all around the world as it does.
First few years I was pretty annoyed. But this is the thing people need to understand. And sometimes people try and angle things to me, like they'll ask me in person about, oh man, you must be bummed not to be. I was like, I could not give a fuck. I honestly, look me dead in the eyes, I could not give a fuck that I'm in that band. The only reason I wish I was is because I think I could have done some amazing shit with that band. the band would have done some more timeless albums.
I can't imagine you being on a bus for 6 weeks playing Whitechapel shows in the United States.
Wouldn't happen, bro.
Yeah.
Wouldn't happen. I do exactly what a band that I don't particularly like the band, but respect what they've done musically. Nearby Viscaris, a band that I've, had a lot of chuckles about in a lot of ways, but the fact that they just said, fuck it, we're just going to do our own headliners and just do like a few weeks headlining. That's the way I would have done it. None of this fucking going and fucking with a bunch of chump ass bands fucking playing metalcore. Like, and I don't, once again, anyway, it's going to be, that's going to be the title of the thing.
Caveats on everything.
Sorry with the caveats, but I just don't want people to think that I'm some sort of jaded old fuck that doesn't like anything. I like a lot of shit, but I like some metalcore bands a lot. Yeah. But I just don't want to go on a fucking package tour that's not catering to the people that I want to play to. I couldn't give a fuck. I don't care if it expands my audience. I think going on headlining your own tours that you craft is just as valid and probably makes you more money, in my opinion.
So what are you doing musically these days?
So I've got a few things. So most people know that I've been doing Mephistopheles for a while. That band's basically as good as dead. If we do one more show or one more couple of shows, it'll be our final ever shows. That was the plan. We'd do Tasmania, and we've got this little 3-song EP that we sort of, as with so many of the bands that I've done in the last decade or so, half recorded an album and just fucking, it's just sitting in a studio somewhere. Just what I do. I'm just good at that. And the bands that I keep joining bands are people that are the same sort of level of slackness. But we've got this little 3-song EP that we've done that'll be the EP will be called, straight up, I'm just telling you now, it'll be called, if it comes out, will be called We Have Left Earth. It'll be the death of Mephistopheles. We'll play 2 shows to end it, and that'll be the end of it, if we do, and that may not even happen. So that's where Mephistopheles is at.
It may be left on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, which I fucking hate because I do not like bands just fizzling away. I think it's the most lame shit out. It's fucking horrible. And
it's just because, everyone's busy with everything else?
Basically, there's a whole variety of things. We're all pretty busy, but the main thing is, and it's not his fault, but Benny got he's a farmer now. The guitarist Benny, he's a farmer now and lives in Deloraine. So,
what's he farming?
Hemp predominantly.
Nice.
But his partner that he married, Kate, lovely person, Kate. They live up in Deloraine, and so it's just not logistically even possible for us to jam. Or
is that in North Tasmania somewhere?
Yeah, it's 3 hours from here. So it's just not. No, he rarely comes down here, and we don't go up there. What for? I think maybe occasionally the other boys go up and catch up, but so basically we can't. There's just no logistical way to do things, and he's, the guitar work in that is insane. So if he doesn't keep it up, it goes. So it's pretty hardcore. So that's basically dead. My sort of black metal thing, Iciclan, is, as always, is just sitting in some sort of limbo, and every so often we'll pop up and do a show. So I hadn't done any gigs pretty much since COVID I did a couple of gigs just after COVID, and I didn't really enjoy it at all. And just because for a variety of reasons, including the limited capacities at the start, just felt weird, and people sitting down the first show we played and whatever. A couple of people did get up the front, breathe the law, head banging. But so pretty much those bands haven't done fuck all. And then Iciclan, we did a couple of shows last year just because we got asked. And the first one I didn't like because I hadn't played live for about 3 years and I didn't really enjoy it. And then the second one I really enjoyed it. And I'm like, so that band's probably going to occasionally pop up. Then I've got a new band that an album's been recorded. I've just got to do the lyrics for it. That will come out. I'm making the promise. I'm sealing the deal right here, right now. It will come out this year. It will come out. It'll be at least announced, and a single will come out this year.
And you're just, really agonizing over the lyrics and making sure they're just beyond perfect?
I kind of had like a down year last year. I was kind of in a bit of a fucked up headspace, so I was just focusing on other things other than music, and so I was getting very involved in my sports and my other things, and so I just been very slow. And the lyrics every time I do a new band, I try and write lyrics from a completely different perspective. And with this band, it's a whole different type of angle that I've never written before, and it's very difficult. So every time I sit down to do it, it seems like a fucking chore. So getting myself to sit down and finish a set of lyrics is a lot of work.
So this is the thing you were telling me about. That's what, from the perspective of nature or something?
Yep. So everything's sort of written from the perspective of nature, how it feels to be a stone in a river that's been there for a millennia. You know, the time that trying to encompass a period of 1 million years perhaps with a stone, you know, like, and put it into a fucking 5-minute set of lyrics, you know. So it's sort of weird. It's harder to explain than what I want it to be, but also I don't really want to explain it because
you want to give it away too much.
No. So that's kind of where it's at. And so that'll come out, and I'm play guitar on that and do vocals and write, sort of co-write it with another fella, Ethan, who plays in a couple of pretty cool bands from interstate. And he's, I think it's, I'd argue it's at least equal to the best thing I've ever done, but other people may not think that. I love it. I think it's fucking cool. And it's not one of those things where, you know, people say that, oh, my new album's going to be great, and you listen and it's like, fuck, this is shit, and you've never been, your band's not done something good for 20 years like a lot of like the big bands do. This is a real thing. This is like something that we've written to be good, not to be fucking just some throwaway fucking trash. So
does it have a name, or is it top secret still?
Top secret. Yeah, I've been holding onto the name for over a decade, so it's a name that I can't believe hasn't been given to a band. So I'm not gonna. I just can't. It's also like just that's one of my little superstitions. You know, I just don't like until something's written down somewhere. I can't. So yeah, it's a secret name at the moment. Album will come out. Its full album's been recorded. Sorry, everything's done. So it sounds killer. It'll be. It'll be out. So then that'll be when that comes out. We probably won't really even play live virtually at all unless something insane comes out.
You don't think you'd put it on hymns one year?
I don't really like playing my own stuff that often, but you never know. If I bring out, because it's black metal, if I bring out a band that's killer and black metal, maybe I'll chuck it on a show, but I just won't do any pub shows with it ever.
Just elite shows only.
Yeah. If it's worthy of doing, just because it'll be a lot of work when we do it, and I want to have a particular stage set up and whatever. So it's going to be something we really try and make special. And then I've got, assuming it all gets finished, but it seems to be going well, a recording project with Skits. We've also got another a fucking EP that me and him recorded a few years ago that still hasn't come out, but that'll come out. That'll never be live. Skits has stopped drumming live now. He quit. He retired the other week.
You have an extensive unreleased discography.
Yep, extensive. But this new thing is an actual project. So fans that used to play guitar in Terrorist and Skits and Dave Byrne on bass and me. So that's pretty cool little crew of dudes. So that's going to come out. Don't know what. Oh no, it's called. What's it called? I don't know if I'm allowed to. Skits. Am I allowed to say? I think it's called Feral Abyss, I think, but I don't know if I'm not enough. Well, fucking we're
world exclusive.
World exclusive. No one's even heard. No one outside of us four has even heard anyone say that. Yeah. So that'll be pretty cool. And then we've got so that's sort of it. But I'm also working on some other music because I want to do some death metal again. Like black metal is it's been my favorite genre for probably 20 years, but I still like my death metal a lot, and I just want to do something I can just do something where I don't have to care about the lyrics as much, just a bit of funny shit like I used to do with M.S.I and fucking Gorverk and fucking whatever other brutal bands that I've been in over the years. Just a bit of fun, stupid lyrics, comedic stuff, because I find I can write interesting lyrics, but make them funny as fuck. And I like any time I can talk about weird dicks, not human dicks, but strange, elongated, fucking postulated things that are fucking got their own sort of personality. That's
where has this happened before?
M.S.I has some really good dick lyrics.
Goblin dicks.
Well, I'll tell you. So there's a song called Carnivorous Snowman, and the concept and the title of the song is related to like the old school horror movies where something would be buried on consecrated ground, an Indian burial ground. It used to be the general thing. And now would be a Native American burial ground, but that's what I used to always say, Indian burial ground. And there'd be some sort of possessed item. So anyway, someone's building a snowman. They lived on top of a burial ground. They don't know that. They're building a snowman, and they've got a fucking garden full of carrots that are built there, but this carrot's possessed, right? They don't know. So they put the nose on the carrot. They put the carrot on the nose of the snowman, and the snowman kind of comes to life and grows in size and becomes this possessed snowman. But then the carrot grows and he puts it where his fucking dick should be, and he just goes around and fucking fucks people with his fucking possessed dick, carrot dick.
That is insane. I filled in for a hardcore band once for their first show. So their singer quit like the week before, so I had like 3 or 4 days to just try and write some lyrics that I was only going to sing as this one and done thing.
Yep.
I wrote a song about a abominable yeti that was going on a rampage through a ski resort, murdering people.
Nice.
I don't know, just the snowman reminded me of that.
Yeah, well, he's definitely. I mean, the Iciclan album's kind of about something that's spiritually related to the Abominable Snowman, but it's not. It never was, but then everyone gets it because the album cover looks like a fucking Abominable Snowman. But yeah, I love writing songs that are just not as serious. I could sit here right now. I'm not joking. I could sit here and write you 100 sets of lyrics in a fucking couple of hours. Well, not a couple. As long as it takes me to write them, I could do them. Just out of the top of my head, it flows out. Just flows. I could just.
Yeah, you were never one that's short of words.
Yeah, fucking hell. I'm just talking shit right now. So, but yeah, I just talk. But then when it comes to like stuff I really care about, it's just more about getting it right than not being able to do it. If I didn't have to it's just all that alliteration. I'm trying to like fit things into spaces and X amount of syllables into X amount of stuff, and that's where I find it difficult. Is getting the lyrics and the syllabic spaces to fit, because that's fucking hard. If you're like I am and overly pedantic, which I'm pedantic about things and not about others.
So are you thinking about hymns?
Yep.
26?
Yep.
Is Dark Mofo happening next year? Is it back on yearly now? I got asked that about 10 times last night, and I was like, yeah, I think so.
I can't make any official statements.
Yeah, I know.
I probably said more than I ever even would say about any Dark Mofo stuff. To my knowledge, I've heard nothing to the contrary. I have nothing to do with any of that. I just know that I haven't heard anything. Let's put it this way, if Dark Mofo happens and if hymns is still a valid thing, 100%.
You got some ideas.
But regardless of whether it is or it isn't, I know exactly what I want to have on hymns already. Whether it happens and because there's a couple of bands that were potentially going to play this year that couldn't make the dates work or whatever. So they'll probably be in the mix, but who knows? I've got big plans, man. I've got a heap of different tours and stuff between now and then. So I've got a whole bunch of stuff that's going to come out in the next the next 8 months, probably a couple of internationals, something in November, big announcement in November, a couple of US acts, and then January, February got something as well, a bit of underground death metal stuff and whatever. So yeah, I'm just kind of working on that at the moment, and then but always thinking about if Dark Mofo is a thing and I'm involved, then I'm always thinking about it, planning ahead of time if I can. Yeah.
So you do Southern Extremities Promotions with your tours and stuff. What was the first tour you ever booked?
So I'm gonna just like Southern Extremities Productions.
Productions, sorry.
Don't apologise, man. I like it. It's good because then we get to say it twice. You know what I mean? So it's people really lock it in that way. It's like when you write things down. So Southern Extremities Productions actually started as a record label / distribution in 2006. So I got my small business management fucking whatever. I was going to say degree. It wasn't at uni. So whatever the other thing is.
TAFE.
Yeah, I went to TAFE, yeah. At Old Ed, one of those ones. But I got my small business management thing and I did another marketing thing. And so I got an opportunity to get on the NICE scheme. So I get paid to basically fucking work on my business plan. And I started with something else and then I ended up turning it into this label, and I founded it in 2006. And my partner at the time was kind of involved to a degree as well, Nicole. And she was a great assistant and whatever, and did a lot of stuff with it. But initially, it was meant to be releasing albums. So I released Mephistopheles because they were just young chums at the time before I joined, and they had heaps of potential. So I released their first album, and then I released Excruciate's debut, or their only full length. Oh no, they did do another one after. Sorry, yeah. But yeah, I released their album, which was a bit of a fizzed because the production was a bit fucked on it. But anyway, partly my fault, mostly fucking someone's fault. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. Regardless, it came out. But yeah, and then so I started back, when CDs were going. I was doing distro. So Southern Extremities was a distro and label for a few years, and it was fucking awesome. And then I just thought I'd use the vehicle to put a tour together. So I did. Things started fucking out because CDs around the same, a year or two later, people just stopped buying CDs as much, and now they're buying them again, but they weren't then. And I just fucking went, fuck this shit. I'm not going to do this anymore. I just sort of just threw it to the side. I was annoyed almost at the world, and didn't jump on the next thing as quickly as I should have. But yeah, so then I think it would have been 2007 maybe. No. I don't know, man. All I know is I did something, but I know in 2013 I did cock and ball torture. And that was the first thing I did completely by myself. And that was sick. And it was great. Some insane moments and I fucking crashed a tour van on that thing as well into the back of a fucking car. That sucked. Wasn't my fault, but that was a bit full on. Having the band in the car and me just playing into the back of these fucking poor cunts. And it was their fault, but I'm not, I still felt bad.
Yeah.
Because I was fucking just driven 14 hours and I was a bit fucking, anyway, but because I crashed into them, I got, anyway, whatever. But that was a sick tour, man. That was sick. They were fucking sick, and they were top dudes to hang out with, funny fucking dudes, and loved it. And then a couple of years later, or the year later even, I did Sinister for the first time. The only time, but they come back recently. And that was pretty cool. Yeah, so they were the first two. No, see, that's where I'm forgetting. I did Skinless. That's what I did.
Oh, right.
Skinless in 2009. That was the first tour. So I did Skinless in 2009. I'm sure it was 2009. So after 3 years of doing Southern Extremities and kind of getting out of whatever, 2009 I did Skinless, and that was pretty crazy. Yeah.
Was that the year that they were supposed to play Overcranked and it got cancelled or something, or am I thinking of something else there?
Don't know. I don't think so. They played Brisbane at the
Unibar?
HMB or something.
No. Did Skinless tour a couple of times?
No, just that one time.
Right.
And the band I used to drum in, M.S.I, we toured with them and did the whole tour with them. And they did Metal for the Brain. I think they were the first international band to play Metal for the Brain, actually. And one of only two, I think, because the next year I think they had an international as well. But
yeah, that might be where I was crossing over with Overcranked, because I could have sworn I saw them on a festival poster back in the day.
They were definitely on Metal for the Brain, and they also played the one and done. What was the one in Sydney? And Nevermore played, and it's the only time Nevermore came out, I guess. Nevermore. The name of it was to do with Halloween.
I don't remember. I feel like there's been a lot of random one-off festivals in Sydney over the years.
This was a real. Sorry, Dave Balfour, if you weren't involved. I feel like Dave Balfour was something to do with it, and it was a fucking great concept, man. It was like that he was trying to build this. It was going to be the next Sydney, or would have been the Sydney Festival, in my opinion, had it kept going. But I guess once again, you sort of do these things and realise that a lot of money gets spent and it's really hard to get it back. So, but anyway, so they played that festival, whatever the fuck it was called. Hopefully, will come back to me before this ends. But and then they did a full national tour. So yeah, that was cool. Lost money on it because I knew I would, but lost a fair bit of coins. So that's why it took me a few years before I doubled down and came back to the thing. But it was fine because it was a really good experience, because I'd booked me and Dave when. Just before I left Psycroptic, a few years before I left Psycroptic, we brought Deeds of Flesh to Australia and booked that tour together. So that was my first experience running a international band out here, and it was pretty cool. Worked out quite well, actually. I think we made money off it and everything, so that was good. But then, yeah, my first going at it alone was Skinless in 2009, and then Cock and Ball Torture, and then and I was obviously bringing bands to Tassie that were doing shows. Like I brought the first probably 5 international bands ever to play Tassie, like metal wise, Disgorge and fucking Defiled from Japan, and a few others anyway. But yeah, so it was pretty sick. And then so I just kept going since then, and I've done quite a few tours now.
Yeah, you've had some pretty big wins too, like Blood Incantation, massive.
Yeah. Well, I brought them out. So in 2017, I think it was, I brought them out with Arcturus as the undercard, And a lot of people were pretty excited. It actually fucks me off a lot when I look back at it, because I know there was a bit of a contingent of people that didn't go because they're like, oh, I don't care about Arcturus. I just want to see Blood Incantation. I'm like, well, just come see Blood Incantation and then leave if you really have to be that fucking petty. But Arcturus is such a sick band. I guarantee you're not going to hate it. They're fucking insane live band. And they were like, and at the time they were just so on point. Like, it was unbelievable. Probably some of the best. I've seen lots of footage of Arcturus, and I'd seen them the previous time they came, and I think it was the best I've ever seen them. It was unbelievable. So I'd love to bring them. I might bring them back at some point, to be honest. I'd love to. It's just, it's just they're kind of in a weird niche where that sort of avant-garde black metal is not that huge in Australia, so it's kind of hard to make it work.
Not that huge anywhere, really.
No, maybe in very specific parts of Europe, I think.
Mainland Europe.
But that was sick. So they come out this undercard, and then obviously came back in 2022 with Decongregation, which was an absolute belter of a tour, and nearly every show sold out, and it was fucking it was great. And they're great guys, like I consider them personal friends, and they put on a sick, they're one of those bands that on record they're amazing, live they're amazing, and they're cool to hang out with, and they're pretty much, they've got a nicely aligned diet choice similar to mine, so it's we can go and eat stuff together, which is nice too.
Yeah, so how long have you been vegan for?
I'm not vegan.
Oh, sorry. Thought you were.
No, man, fuck that.
Where did I get that from?
Raw broccoli only. No, I have been vegan, but no, I'm vegetarian. I'm a strict vegetarian, obviously, whatever that means. Well, it does mean something. Strict vegetarian. Like I asked if the cheese has rennet, for example. But yeah, I was vegan for 8 years at one point and 5 years for another. I've been vegetarian for 24 years.
So what's stopped you from maintaining veganism? It's pretty difficult at times.
It's too complex for me to sort of go into really with any depth, but relative to my partner, she doesn't really have the interest in being vegan, and it's a lot of work. Any vegans would be sitting there going, oh, who gives a fuck, but this is just me. And I remember like one time, I think it was like it really come home to roost. I remember one time I was on tour and I was vegan, and it was towards the end of when I was whatever, and one day it was like either eat nothing or eat something that had some cheese in it, right? And I wasn't going to eat nothing because I felt fucking cooked, and so I did. And I remember someone saying to me, and it was even, the person is vegan, and they just said, look, man, you can do your best in life, you can only do your best. Obviously, there's an ideal way to look at things, but you can only do, if you think you're doing as good as you can, that's still better than not doing anything at all. Yep. So I would love to be vegan, honestly, like emotionally and whatever. To be fair, if I had my own chickens, I would eat eggs.
Yep.
I don't really eat eggs, by the way, but if I had my own cows, I'd had milk without it feeling guilty. I'd just hand fucking milk those bastards.
Eggs is the main thing for me. Like, I obviously have a lot of my own chickens, and I don't feel like there's any moral problem with me having them in the backyard and eating eggs every day.
Unless you are anti-abortion, you can eat a fucking egg, right? So I'm even if I was vegan, I would never be vegan if I had my own opportunity to harvest these things without, because I believe there'd be no trauma to the animal whatsoever. And if I can do that without the trauma to the animal, great. But yeah, so it's partially through my own life, but also I know this is going to sound incredibly, like, in any vegan watching this that's very staunch about their beliefs will probably hate what I'm about to say, but I fucking love cheese, man.
Yeah.
I love it. And the idea of never eating cheese right now scares me. And it was what was hardest the first time. But I went 8 years and then I went another 5. So like I've done 13 years of my 24 vegan, and but I just love it. It's not I don't even eat it like, it's not like I eat it all the time. I'm not just waking up and rolling over to a fucking slice of brie on my fucking bedside table. But it is a very nice thing to have with my fake meat burgers and my fucking whatever. So predominantly, and also the biggest thing is, and that's the facetious thing. I'm being slightly facetious. I do love cheese, but it's not really. For me, I lift weights. I'm a bit fat at the moment, so whatever. But I lift weights. I've got a lot of muscle mass on my body. I love it, and I cannot eat pea protein. Pea protein is the best vegan protein, and I cannot eat it. My stomach will not handle it. So if I eat any proteins, they're just shit. So you can't eat excessive soy protein. It's not good for you. You can have a fair bit, but you can't just have it all the time. Buckwheat protein, all these other ones, they're all shit. Pea protein is the best vegan protein.
Yeah, that's the one I'm on.
Yeah, the best for mass and growth and stuff, and my stomach can't handle it. So it's either be vegan and be smaller, or have whey-based protein. And so that's actually the true tale is I need to have my whey-based protein to maintain the size that I am. So it's a selfish endeavor, but that's what I have.
But I guess, you're still doing more than most people to reduce the suffering in what you're eating.
Yeah, won't wear leather, won't do. Like I'm all about, I do everything I can to do what I can for the environment, for the animals, love them. We'll rally for them, raise money for them, fucking donate money every year to different animal causes. Like I never talk about that. I'm only mentioning it now for the sake of whatever. I don't ever talk about it online. I don't care. People, it's for me. It's not for anyone else to know. I don't need to go on stage or on social media and espouse my benevolency. Look what a good person I am. I do this thing. If that's what you're doing, you're really just doing it for your own fucking cred. I couldn't give a fuck about it. I do things because I care deeply. I love animals. I love every animal, insects even. I love them. They're cute. They're all cute. Everything's cute. That's why when like if I see fucking any kind of like vermin, I just can't, even when they're just the most repugnant little dirty fucking thing, I just think, fuck, you're still pretty cute, man. Yeah. I just can't help it. A mouse could crawl out of a fucking sewer drain and I'd say, oh, look at him, little fella.
Little guy.
Like, start putting little voices on. How you going? Whatever. Hello, little fella. Like what the fuck? What a joke. Like I just love animals too much. So, but I have no doubt that at one point in my life I'll probably go back to being vegan. I don't know if steroids are vegan. If they are vegan, then at some point in my life I'll probably take steroids. And
why is that? Just because you want to be Arnie.
When I get older, I want to just try and keep that muscle mass up. So
right.
I feel like there'll be a point where it'll be hard to do it naturally. So just do a few cycles on the roids. I don't know, maybe. That's what I always said when I hit 50, I'm going to take steroids. Could be just a throwaway statement, could be fact. I don't know. We'll just see. If you see me starting to look real bulky around 50, you'll know that I'm fucking juicing. But I don't really, I won't be one of those guys that just juices all the time. It'll just be like a little boost here and there. You know what I mean? I got a good friend of mine who's just turned 49. He's a fucking big dude, strong. And he just started taking Tren or something. And told me, he said, oh, you should get it on. And I was like, bro, no. So like, what the fuck are you talking about? But anyway, he's on it and he loves it. He said he's just noticed his strength and his size increase in a pretty short period of time. It doesn't really do that. It's just more about recovery and stuff, like everyone, the instant imagination is that that steroids just make you just, it's not like that. You got to do the work. It's just more about recovery and having a better opportunity not to be fucked from training the way. Because when you start lifting monster weights, like I don't lift. I'm not like a power lifter or anything like that. But I lift heavy. I lift heavier than the human body generally would lift regularly, and it kicks the shit out of you. Like you go and do 200 kilo squats or something like that. You know about it. Like I don't really get sore in my muscles, but I feel tired. Especially the older I get. So it'd be kind of nice to do that and not feel tired or as tired.
Lately I've been trying to actually push through until my muscles do feel tired because I've been going to the gym for a couple of years and it's like it's keeping me fit and mentally well and relatively toned, but I feel like I'm really struggling to actually add any mass, and I figure if I'm actually pushing the muscles a bit more, maybe that'll help a bit.
It will, but there's we could turn this into a fucking
full fitness conversation.
But you just need to fucking just come for a workout with me, bro. I won't make you fat. I'll just make you bigger. Trust me. Trust me. But you're looking all right. A little bit of,
Yeah, so it's better than I think it's better than I've ever looked in the arms
definitely.
at least.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. You used to just, that was what I was like when I was young though. I just had a couple of matchsticks hanging off the side.
A little twig.
Yeah, just the twig boys. I've got photos. People that have only known me in the last 10 years of my life just think that I'm like a big person, right? Some don't know that I lift weights. Like you can see if I'm wearing a small, like a t-shirt or whatever, that I've got kind of big arms and a big back or whatever. But a lot of people can't really see that I've got like actual muscles on my body. They just think I'm a big dude. But other people think I'm a big dude, whatever muscle, whatever it is. They just think that's me. Like some people are just big people, you know. I'm like, nah, man, I'm not big. I'm tall, but I'm not big. I'm fucking. If you see these photos of me, like when I started lifting weights, I'd lost a lot of weight. I was 79 kilos.
Yeah, like all those studio photos from the Scepter days at Psycroptic were posting the other month. You were a different person.
Yeah, Twig Man.
Twig Man with long hair.
I had hair. I had hair that grew at every angle of my fucking head instead of just back 77 degrees. But yeah, and I was skinny but I did a lot of exercise then. I used to just like every day I just do like 100 push-ups in the morning, 100 arm curls, 100 sit-ups, and then I'd do that each morning, each night, and some squats and stuff just to keep myself lean. And I was pretty shredded back then, but I just didn't really have much mass. And it was a few years later, I just always dreamt of being like having big shoulders and a big back. Sounds so fucking stupid, but just saying it out loud sounds dumb, but it's just what I wanted. So I started pumping the weights, and yeah, I love it. It's kind of key to my thing. And obviously when I started doing security, a long time, I've been working as a security guard on occasion for quite a long time. And when you're a bouncer and you've got a bit more bulk to you, people kind of tend to fuck with you less.
Yep.
And I like that because I just prefer to. I'll fucking if we need to smash on, we'll smash on. But I think it's better for both of us if you just leave than me having to fucking fuck you up or you fuck me up or whatever the fuck. So if you got a bit more size, people take you a bit more seriously. Not always though. Some of the best bouncers I know are fucking small dudes. It's just you
small dudes with big attitudes.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's just about how you talk to people. De-escalation in any situation, and that comes across in all times of life. De-escalation, and I think I've learned a lot. That's a funny thing with security. I think I've learned more about conflict resolution than most anyone else will ever learn, except for obviously fucking the special, people that work in cops and whatever. But like your average job's not going to teach you de-escalation. Security does, and I think it's been useful in my real life. Like just being able to assess things and go, okay, I don't really need to get fucking annoyed about this. I don't need to react to this. I'm better off just assessing it and then deciding to act, because I'm pretty good these days. I'm pretty calm, but there's been times in my life where I've flown off the handle and done crazy shit.
Yeah, I saw a security guard swinging on a guy a couple of nights ago. It was pretty funny. I was getting escorted into night mass through the back door.
Yep.
And there was some guy who was trying to sneak in, I think, and he's like walking down the street and the security guard's going, "What are you doing, mate?" And he's like, "I'm just going to go get my car." And he's like, "Which one's your car?" And he just kept walking. And then he's like, "Oh, piss off, mate." And he starts having a go at him. He's like, were you going to fucking talk shit on me for trying to do my job and blah, blah, blah. And the security guard's pulling his hoodie off and swinging and got real dramatic.
Fuck yeah.
Sounds like he needed a de-escalation lesson.
De-escalation, or he should have just fucking gone bang, one and done.
One and done.
No, I don't give a fuck. Like if someone deserves it, fuck them up. I don't give a fuck. Like I'm not one of these people that I think most things can be solved without violence, and I think in a world sense they should always be. But sometimes street justice is 100% necessary, and some people never learn from anything. But I know it's happened to me. I know when I was really, really young. One guy handed an ass whooping to me when I was really young, and
you deserved it.
I probably didn't deserve the degree of the ass whooping. But
it was a teaching moment for sure.
It was great. It was good. It was awesome. I thank him forever. Fucking more people need to get belted in a way that, because like it's different. Like if you grow up in a household where you're getting belted by your parents, that's not cool.
That was me, unfortunately.
Yeah, same. So like I don't really like that, and it probably fucked my life up if I think it's a lot of the problems I've had have been related to that. Luckily, that's. Like as I got older, it was fine. But, like I'm not going to go into that conversation, but I'm just saying, like, I know a lot of people that have had horrible childhoods, a lot of them. And there's never an excuse. But when you get old enough to make your own decisions, sometimes that decision should result in an extreme reaction from somebody else that makes you question what the fuck you're doing. And I think a lot of people in current society do not have that experience, and they live behind a computer, and then when it happens in real life, they have a fucking meltdown and then go online and write a fucking 5 million page paragraph about how the fucking the something of the world, insert X target group here, white male, or fucking, you know, if you're white, you're probably going to say it about a fucking another national, whatever you're going to do, you're going to have your little go-to enemy, and then you're going to create a diatribe about how that person has fucked your whole day up, and in actuality, you're just a fuckhead, and you're
shifting the blame.
Yeah, just accept sometimes things. I mean, I don't, you know, it's a weird time to exist, really, but like it's just not like life's easier now than it's ever been for the majority of the Western world, and we get so caught up in like all this fucked up shit, and it's just, I just think, you know, like I think the worst piece of advice that's come out in recent years is that your own truth matters. You know what I mean? Yes, your own truth matters to you, but this whole thing where people fucking they talk about oh, you know, that's the same. Like someone's had a horrible life experience and someone's had their own, what they consider to be a horrible life experience, and someone says, oh, well, you know, at least you're not them. And they say, oh, no, but, you know, everyone perceives things. And it's like, no.
Trauma is probably one of the most overused words
fucking oath
of the current era.
Everyone, you can say everyone has the same, but every time I think about something that's fucked or whatever, I literally think about what my parents used to say when I was young. One of the good things, they'd say, think about the starving kids in Africa. You know, it's a very generalistic thing, and there's a lot of other things I can think of other than just the starving kids in Africa. But I do often think of the starving kids in Africa, and I think, what have I got to complain about?
Yeah.
I really do think it gives you more to think about how bad other people have it. It actually makes you feel better about your life. And I don't know why people try and get away from that now. They try and like justify their own fucking sadness and their own shit. And more often than not, they're coming online and just absolutely unburdening their own grief, and everyone else has to share it with them. And suddenly you're reading someone else's shit and you're feeling bogged down. Like, oh my God, like why?
Yeah.
Just like I feel bad. Like I want everyone to be happy. Like I want everyone on the planet to be happy, because I think if everyone was happy, half the bad shit would never ever happen.
How naive.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's I don't know, I guess I know people that like always need to have a target for their anger, and there's always something external, and of course, yeah, there's lots of stuff to be angry in the world about, but I think if you're making that your entire personality 24/7, you're redirecting that rage from somewhere else in the first place, perhaps.
Yeah, well, unless you're
instead of just dealing with it,
and unless you're monetizing it.
And that's the thing, I guess.
What the fuck are you doing?
The way social media is set up now is that a lot of people can monetize it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think you get your followers and you get your sycophants and you get your whatevers, and I just don't think it's a good solution. I mean, who am I? I'm sitting here talking about. I mean, I do think I've got the solution to the world, but I'm just saying that's one of the small things. I just think appreciate what you got, but don't settle, don't rest, don't say, oh, that's enough. I'm not saying people just have to say, well, I've got what I've got and don't do any more. Fuck yeah. Aim for the fucking stars, man. Like anyone can do anything. We're living in the fucking world where you can go from being a chump one day to fucking a millionaire a few weeks later or whatever. Like it's legitimately, literally possible to go from zero to hero in a very short period of time. So don't not aim for the stars,
There's
but just
literal teenagers turning into billionaires overnight with like shit coins.
It's fucked, and they should be that should be just illegal. You know what I mean? Like fuck off. But you know, but instead of being unhappy, look for the things that make you happy, and look for the things that like that you have good that someone else doesn't, because you should feel grateful. I mean, I feel grateful every time I think about the opportunity I've been given just working with Dark Mofo, to cycle back to the very start of this conversation, the opportunity I've had to work with them, the festival, the people in the festival, just to have anything to do with an opportunity to bring music that I consider to be very important to me and to a lot of other people to the other side of the world and perform. What a cool job, you know, just like booking bands and whatever. Like it's you know, I do treat it as, I do want it to be right, but I mean, fuck me, like it's art. I mean, it's being involved in the arts really, and getting to paid in any sense to be involved in the arts is beautiful. And
it is truly a privilege.
Oh, it's insane. And I mean, I think everything I do, I try and step back and go, wow, that's fucking cool, man. Like, I don't just go, like, even if I've earned it, even if I've built something from the ground up and I know what I've done, I still step back and say, fuck, I'm lucky. Like, fucking, that's really cool. I just feel really grateful to have had an opportunity, because, like we're blessed with it. Like the era that we're in, 2025. Yeah, there's some fucking insane shit happening in the world right now. Some shit that I just actually don't believe is real, and I think a lot of the time pretend it isn't. But I like we're living at a time where, oh man, I wouldn't mind eating some bizarre food, and there's some fucking stall locally selling it. You just go eat it. Imagine in 1940 or 20 or whatever, saying I wouldn't mind a piece of, I don't know, an avocado. Like you wouldn't find.
You're not going to get one.
Yeah, so like we're just like, like I know that's the irony is the avocado on toast scenario, but it's true. I mean, we are doing that. Like people are blasting money on expensive luxury items.
Yeah, I've had several insane moments over the weekend where I've been like tripping deep on mushrooms, like surrounded by friends in this festival carnival environment, like at the feast or something, and then I pull out my phone and just see a missile slamming into Tel Aviv, and you're just like, whoa, man.
Yeah.
And then I'm here just like spending $22 on some gourmet Brussels sprouts.
Oh, did you try those, did you?
Yeah, they were fucking unreal. I had like 3 plates of them.
Someone told me to check that out. Maybe it was you. I don't know. But somebody, because I was walking around the feast, that was the only thing. I mean, I know it's very meat. I don't know if anyone's watching this. We're talking about the Winter Feast. It's a part of the Dark Mofo experience, which is a festival, if you don't know what it is. I'm just trying to give some context here.
Yeah.
But it's very meat-centered, I know, but I swear there used to be more vegan stuff.
Yeah. I really struggled finding veg stuff there this year. There was a few good things, but it was really few and far between. I definitely feel like there was more.
Are you veg or vegan, or sort of?
At Dark Mofo, I guess I kind of like get a bit flexible on the vegan side of things. So I'm just kind of like, well, there's not much to choose from, but I was trying my best. But every now and then I'm like, oh, that tart looks delicious, or that custard thing or whatever, and I'll give that a rip.
It's the dessert that gets me, bro.
But when I go to the supermarket, like my shopping cart is entirely vegan, and then everything I cook at home is vegan except for the eggs. And then just every now and then it's like, if there's a tiny bit of cheese or meat in something that is going to go to waste, like I'd rather just eat that than watch it go in the bin.
That's true.
Sometimes it's just more convenient, or like I'm hungry and lazy, or I'm sad and don't feel as staunch about things, and it'll just be like, okay, well, I'm not going to be a vegan today. So I don't know what that makes me, but I try and be vegan for probably about 90% of the time.
Yeah, I think my diet's 90% vegan, just because the only 10% of food I eat that's not is a bit of whey-based protein mostly. But I think like, it's
like I don't even count the eggs.
No. I think when I started, like when I had my last vegan, it was 5 years last time, and I came back to eating not vegan, I think one of the first things was that exact thing. I don't ever eat meat in any situation unless and that's not judging you, I'm just saying I don't do it in any situation. I've done it by accident a couple of times, obviously, but like we all get that happening. But I think that was actually what happened. I think the first time I did was I was at someone's house and they'd made something with cheese in it, and they were going to turf it. And I said, fuck that. And I just fucking slammed, because I can eat like a beast, man. I'm an animal with food. And I just fucking ripped it into me. And I was just like, it was like straight away when you don't eat dairy for a long time and you eat dairy, that casein really gets the mucus and stuff going. But it was like, well, like when people do a drug depiction in a movie, it was like, I was like, fucking cheese, oh, mama. I was fucking, it almost felt like just fucking belting one out right there. I just found my dick got a little bit hard. It was fucking sick. I was like, fuck, this is the shit. So I think, unfortunately, I got the taste, the devil got back into me. And I said to a lot of people, like, I'll never ever eat meat again unless it's for survival. I will 100% if it's a survival situation. I'll eat meat. I'll kill it myself. I've got no problems doing that. When I was young, I used to hunt and stuff, so I've killed plenty of animals when I was young, which I don't like thinking about, but it's just I was just young and whatever. So I'll do that. And if I've always said if I ever got a chance to taste human, I would do it.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%. Because we're a plague, so who gives a fuck? Like if it was good, as long as it was nice, pure human, I'd have a slice for sure.
Even not in a non-survival context, if you rocked up somewhere and there was human on the menu, you'd say, one human burger, please.
As long as nothing had happened, like like this is how I perceive. Like I've got a pretty specific situation.
Explain it.
It'd have to be like someone had just got a bit shaved off their quad or their ass or something. You know what I mean? Like
They donated it.
Yeah, because it was big money. You know what I mean? Black market meat. So take a few slices, take
a pound of flesh,
take a pound off me, and I'll sell it to you for 100,000, and whatever. And it was worth. And then I was sitting there, and they go, "Here's a little bit of vegan prosciutto, man meat prosciutto, whatever the fuck." I'd be like, "Yeah, no worries, bang, straight in me, no drums." There's that whole thing. I guess that in the back of my mind, they always say like, there's that supposed. It's called like it's got a certain name, some disease you're supposed to get from eating human meat,
like a mad cow kind of
something
vibe.
similar. I don't know if that's accurate or if that's just what they tell you so we don't start eating each other. But I think most of the people that have eaten, it'd be hard to argue that people that have eaten human meat aren't a bit fucked up. Did that make them more fucked up? It would be hard to, like, do you go to Jeffrey Dahmer and say, after you had your first meal, did you get worse?
Did it change you?
Yeah, I really liked it, and I just wanted to eat more every day. I was fucking. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's just I know a lot of people fucking look at me like I'm fucked in the head when I say that. In fact, nearly everyone does. But it's just something I've wanted to do since I was a kid. Just wanted to try a human. I don't know. I think I don't know if it was Hannibal Lecter made me fucking curious, but
yeah. When I first started traveling internationally, like I kept trying to order vegetarian food in Asia and just kept getting stuff with meat in it accidentally, and I think I had like a probably 4 or 5 year break from trying not to eat animals and just kind of like got a bit nihilistic and fuck it about everything. And it sort of started with me just going, okay, I'm overseas and experiencing new cultures. I'm going to just try everything. And I'm pretty sure at some point I would have, in like Indonesia, I'm pretty sure I ate dog. Not really. I didn't specifically know if I was or not, but eating sort of all sorts of different meats that the locals were providing at these shows and just kind of, this is a really unfamiliar texture. And then you see a bunch of dogs in cages on the side of the road and you're like, that was probably dog at some point that I ate.
Yeah, so that's what bothers me the most, the conditions. Like, obviously I wouldn't eat meat regardless because I don't want an animal to die for my food, but factory farming, any kind of animal farming just absolutely just makes me ill. So, if it was going to be something, it'd be wild, you know what I mean? But yeah, like, to me, if I did eat meat though, I would just eat anything anyway. I wouldn't give a fuck, like, because I wouldn't be able to differentiate. I don't think anything. I heard what the fuck is that from? It was even from a fucking show I watched recently. Either everything matters or nothing matters. You know what I mean?
There's no ethical consumption.
No.
Something like that. I don't know.
No, well, that's right. And I mean, I just. But if there, it was just a fucking wild dog, then whatever. Or if it was a dead dog, that's the thing. That's the other thing.
Maybe you can go around collecting roadkill and
that's right.
Get bulked that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be the roadkill, not the liver king, but I'll be the roadkill king. But yeah, no, I mean it's I don't really want to eat gross roadkill, but yeah, I mean whatever. But yeah, I mean I used to actually take what was an ethically sourced protein. I mean, I think the one I do. I mean, the thing is about protein, it's just byproduct anyway, so it's not like they're killing anyone or hurting anything for the protein. It's a byproduct of milk production, but I still went and was paying this exorbitant amount of money for this ethically so it was like a proper farm that just had their own whatever, it was like everything was treated well and it was just like the cows were just free, and it was one of those situations, and it was so expensive, and obviously it must have been hard to make it work because it didn't last. It only lasted about 5 years, and then that fucking went. So it's once that went, I was back to fucking I buy high quality way, expensive stuff. So I'd like to think that it comes from I don't know, better places. But yeah, that's where I've got to just go. Fuck.
Yeah,
it is what it is, man.
So just to move the topic to a different area of consumption, you've been sober for quite a few years, like off clean and sober completely.
Yeah, mate. Yep. Yeah. Gave up the grog, mate. Gave up the grog, gave up the weed, gave up the fucking coffee. But I never started on the coffee. So that was the easy one. That was the easiest one to give up. I think I had one coffee in my life, and then I just went, no, that's not for me. No, but so I stopped drinking in February 2019 or 2018. So it's been nearly 6.5 years. that I haven't drank.
Impressive.
Yeah, it's not a bad effort.
This is my first non-alcoholic Dark Mofo, and at times it was a huge struggle, but for the most part I was quite surprised at how easy it was for me once you kind of get rolling.
Yeah, I think I've always fluctuated a lot through my life with drinking and not drinking, so the idea of being sober and not being sober isn't as weird for me, but because I'm a very social drinker, I just like to drink with people and get drunk with people and have that experience. So that's kind of where I was at. I wasn't one of these people that would go home and sit in front of the footy and suck fucking beers down. I didn't really like to do it by myself, but I have done it many times. And when I was in my worst phase of drinking, when I was literally a full-blown alcoholic, a diagnosed alcoholic when I was young.
You get the shakes in the morning if you didn't take a swig when you first woke up?
I didn't even give myself a chance to notice if I was shaking. I just fucking roll over, I had a goon bag next to my bed and I just start drinking.
Fuck, goon.
Yep.
Fruity Lexia?
No, I was a bit of a Fruity Lexia, but I went just straight for fucking Riesling, just a dry white. Found it was easier to drink. You didn't get sick of the flavour as much. But yeah, I used to just bang that into me straight away as soon as I woke up. I think there was a period where I was drunk for 5 months. I didn't have a single sober day or a sober moment. I was just, as soon as I woke up, I was waking up drunk, drinking, and I didn't, that was when I was about 20, 21 or something like that, and I just drank for 5 months straight.
And that's like what, around the peak of your Psycroptic days?
That was just after Isle had come out and we just started touring, so it was before Scepter and stuff, so I was fucking drowning. I was loving it and just getting fucking slopped every day, getting myself into all kinds of trouble too. But so I did that, and then I kind of got out of that, started seeing somebody that was a little bit more supportive of my existence, and I'm just going to fuck with your shit, man. What just happened, bro?
This whole podcast, the hardest part about it has been the technical side of things, and every episode that I do, or every edit that I do, there's something else that pops up as like another learning curve. And I think this time, my laptop just ran out of disk space, and then when I went to clear up a bunch of space and start recording again, it went over, started re-recording over the files that we just recorded. So I just had a panic attack, and we've semi-salvaged. Well, I've semi-salvaged it, and I believe we've got the lower res kind of wider version of things, but the close-up cams are from that first hour and 30 minutes seem to be gone, which is amazing.
It's going to be unfortunate for the people that just want to see us real tight and close, you know what I mean? The real sickos that want to fucking...
Yeah, sorry, no more 4K.
No more 4K. But yeah, man, that's cool though. I mean, it's good. It's more interesting, like the way you've got it set up's more pro than I expected. I thought you used to have one little camera and a fucking, maybe a little thing, but it looks like you're heading towards...
I thought if I was going to do it, I may as well do it properly.
Yeah. I'm probably going to have to charge you for my physio on my elbow after the week. Yeah,
that's another learning curve, is I think I'm going to have to invest in some just little desktop boom arms just to kind
I've even got some of those. Actually.
Have them on standby for situations like this where the clamps don't fit.
It's all right though. The clamps don't fit, the drugs don't lie. I don't know what that fucking lyric is. So yeah, we're talking about music.
Yeah.
It's going to be disjointed, but I'm just going to tell you, right? So the biggest things for me, Metallica, right? Cannibal Corpse, Tomb of the Mutilated, that album. That's the death metal, kind of like the sort of heavier side of death metal. Boltrower, Warmaster, Emperor in the Night Side Eclipse, Jeff Buckley, Grace, Mahavishnu Orchestra, Bird of Fire, Inner Mounting Flame, both those albums, and probably Mr. Bungle, self-titled, and there's a lot of other things, but that slew of albums are probably my most influential albums of all. And then from a vocal perspective, even though I don't sound anything like these people, Broken Hope, Joe Stasic, however you fucking pronounce his last name, it's probably Tajik or something. He's obviously not with us anymore, but he's in my opinion the best extreme metal vocalist of all time. his work on, especially the Loathing album, is just almost untouched. And him and Frank Rooney from Internal Bleeding, just the Gurgle Master, those two guys are probably my favourites. And then obviously the early Gorgoroth stuff, Pest and Hat, those two guys, insane. So like I think they're there's Chris Barnes from Cannibal Corpse, Dave Vincent, Morbid Angel, can't forget Morbid Angel. Fuck me, man, what a band. I don't know a single death metal musician that doesn't like at least one Morbid Angel album, and I think that's probably the only band that I could say that about, because there's plenty of death metal people that don't like Death, or don't like Cannibal Corpse, or don't like Obituary, or don't like Dismember or Entombed or fucking whatever, but Morbid Angel, I think everyone likes them. Do you like Morbid Angel?
I've never been massive on it, but I do enjoy listening to it from time to time. But I'm not as much of an old school head as you.
I know, but you need to change that, bro. When I leave, just put on Covenant or Blessed of the Sick or fucking Altars of Madness. But no, it's really
Altars is definitely the album I've done the most time with.
It's pretty special. But I think the biggest thing is about Morbid Angel is, even if you're not like massively into them, they are impressive. You listen to it and go, okay, I can see. You can see how many bands have been influenced, especially right now. I think in that sort of like fourth wave of US death metal that we're in right now, fucking hugely influential.
Yeah, and even just like the amount of hardcore bands these days where like I remember the first time going back and listening to Morbid Angel, just it kind of clicking like how many bands have, embodied those style of riffs.
Yeah, and even the tone on like the second and third album, but I think Blessed of the Sick, right, that's my favourite, but by a stretch almost. If you were ever going to go back and spend time with an album, I think you need to listen to it front to back, and you need to be in a sort of like very relaxed state. It's fucking special, man. It's like different production, different vibes, but it's got a big personality, that album, big personality, and it begins and ends, like the greatest albums are the ones that feel like a complete piece, in my opinion. And I think Altars of Madness is awesome, and it does feel like an album, but it just feels like an album because their songs are similar, style-wise, sound-wise, whereas I think Blessed and even Covenant to another degree, those albums feel like they've got a start and an end, and that's, to me, that's my favourite shit. You know what I mean? Even though some of my favourite albums of all time are just a collection of songs, the ones that feel like they've actually been carefully crafted to be part of a bigger picture, they're the ones that I love the most. And even maybe they weren't even, they feel that way, and that's why like In the Night Side Eclipse feels like a full album to me. Whereas you listen to like Prometheus, A Discipline of Fire and Demise, or whatever, the last Emperor album, it's cool, but it's like it's just feels like a collection of songs. Whereas Anthems and Night Side Eclipse sound like complete like actual pieces.
Yeah, and those types of records are becoming much more rare to come across these days, I think.
Oh, my God. That's why, like, a lot of people, however you pronounce it, Kekt Arak, that black metal, romantic black metal dude, I think that Pale Swordsman album is absolutely amazing. One of the greatest albums in the last 10 years. And it cops a lot of shit because of how he looks and how he dresses and chooses to present. But I think
there's a ton of memes. Yeah,
a ton of memes, but I think it, unfortunately, misses the point that the album itself is amazing, and it's very special, and it's like not a very long release, but it's a complete piece. All the pieces fit together, even though some songs aren't metal at all. But fuck, man, that album, I fucking love that shit.
You ever tried to get him out for Mofo? Does he play live or?
I'm not going to tell you, man. I've had conversations with him, yes, about playing live, not necessarily for Dark Mofo.
Right.
But he doesn't play live. He doesn't have a band. So not wanting to give away any of his secrets. So,
yeah.
But it's just him. And I don't know if he'll ever play live. And if he does, fucking awesome. And if he does the first show via me in some way, I'd be fucking beyond stoked. And it's not just him. There's a million other things I'd like to see. I mean, fuck, man, I'm wearing an Abigor t-shirt. If I could ever see Abigor, that won't happen. But I'd love to see that happen.
What's the one band that you're more proud of having brought to Tasmania than any other out of all the hymns shows and all the other shows you've done?
I don't know, man. Honest to God. I think
there's so many.
I think, there's a lot. I think like Ulva's a pretty big deal for me. I love Ulva. Obviously the black metal, if it had been the black metal Ulva, that just would have been the first thing flying out my mouth. But I still like all the Ulva stuff, and I think the Assassination of Julius Caesar was an amazing album. they're probably their best electronic album for my tastes. Or yeah, I don't know. Oh, maybe not. Themes of William Blake's pretty cool. But anyway, it's that was amazing, and seeing them with the TSO, the Tasmanian Symphony Orchestra, was beyond amazing. And I think getting Blasphemy to Australia was something that a lot of people had talked about for a long time, and so Blasphemy coming here, I think, was a big deal. Regardless of people's, unfortunately, opinions of some of the people in the band, which are some of them are very, unfortunately, one of the guys in the band's not a good person, and whatever. He's not in the band now, obviously, but little did we know at the time. But but they are such a key band to the history of extreme metal. And it's just one of those bands. Someone someone said to me once, I said I'd love to get Blasphemy Australia, and they said, "No, you'll never get them." I just was like, I love that shit. I love when people say you're not going to do that. That's what I need.
Proving people wrong.
I fucking love it. I love it. But it just drives me. It's not even about like proving them wrong. It's like, okay, motherfucker, I'm going to do this now for myself, even more so, but to spite you. And it just puts that fucking coal straight in the furnace, man. It's just like, it feeds me. It makes me forget about other things that are distracting me. It gets me razor sharp. It gets me on the fucking track, man, and I love it. Greases my wheels. I love it. I fucking love it. So that's not telling people that if anyone actually watches this that wants me to bring certain things, don't be sending me messages saying you can't do that, because I'm more likely to not do it because you've done that now. So if you actually want to see a band, leave me the fuck alone and let me do stuff. I'm just saying, if I say that I'm bringing a band to Australia, or I want to bring a band, and you say no chance, then that makes me work harder. So yeah, sure, if I'm saying, there's things that I really want to see, King Diamond, for example, or Merciful Fate, either one of those, that would be fucking amazing. And that may or may not ever happen, but
so it was on the cards at one point.
I'm not sure. Not sure about that. May have been. Conversations may have been had, but I don't know. I don't know how far they went. But that would be all time. But But yeah, as far as what I have done, yeah, Ulver and Blasphemy. But I don't know what the thing is that I've enjoyed the most, because that, to me, that's like Blood Incantation's up there because I love that, especially the first tour they did off the Starspawn album, which is still my favourite album of theirs. I like everything they've done, but their first full length, or whatever it was, if it was a full length, Starspawn is fucking otherworldly. So that was cool, and actually that seeing Arcturus on that tour was amazing. But yeah, there's been a few bands that I've been particularly frothed on, and sometimes it's not enough. You see them one time, and you go, "Fuck, I kind of want to see another." That's why it's good if you do a little tour. You get to see them a couple of times, so you can either really cement it. Because the worst thing is, like, when if I'm at Hymns or something like that, or I'm doing a band that I've only bring out for one show, you can't, like, metal shows are often very communal, and you're catching up with people. And sometimes you'll find that you've been outside a bit longer than you thought, and you've missed the first couple of songs, or you've had to go for a piss, and then you ran into someone on the way in the hallway, and you miss 3 songs, and you've missed fucking a third of the set or whatever. That's fucked up, man. Like, and you're not going to get a chance to catch up on that. So I've got to be really self-aware of when I take my pisses. Like, if I'm at Hymns, I'm like, fuck, I need a piss.
You're just holding it in the whole time.
Yeah, just, like fucking bursting. Because I don't want to miss I don't want to miss a thing. But it really is significant, and because I may never see that band again. Like, like when I had Dragged Into Sunlight out here, that was fucking sick. And they came back obviously sometime afterwards, but I didn't. That was only interstate. But when I had them, I thought that might be the only time they ever make it to Australia, and so I wanted to see that. And I feel like that was no. I'm not even going to talk about him. Sorry. There's just a particular internet person that we both know that was. I think that was the first time I saw them lamenting not coming to Dark Mofo.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Was that your first Dark Mofo?
I think the first one was Tark. I don't.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Tark,
I don't think that was the same one.
I think it was.
Was it?
I think it might have been.
Yeah, I actually can't remember.
Or was it Anal Nathrak?
Yeah, it was. Those first two really blur together.
You talking about stuff about epic moments. What about? Did you see Anal? Were you at the Anal?
Yeah. It was was that the one with Portal?
No, no, that was the Blasphemy and Batushka.
Yep.
Batushka, the good pre-split Batushka. That Anal Nathrak gig, they got a fucking blind person who was legally, like an actual blind person, to stage dive.
Yeah.
That's
insane.
Next level. Brought him up on stage, said fucking whatever, just off you go, mate. People were, and that dude had a great time. That's like they'd never stage dived before. It was just I don't even know how they came up with that. Someone came up with it. I think they might have seen him on stage with a stick or whatever the fuck. But that's a special moment. It's like that famous photo of Bolt. I know they've tried to recreate it now, but that photo with the Bolt Thrower gig where they've got a person in a wheelchair stage crowd surfing. That's you see that for the things like that. That's metal folklore.
That's what keeps you going.
That fuels my furnace, and I feel like there's a lot more interesting times to come.
Yep.
And hopefully you'll be part of that in whatever way, whether it's doing your own stuff, which it's cool to see you doing heaps of, being involved in heaps of bands coming out still, and more probably than you ever have been, I guess. And hopefully we'll make a bit of history, because that's what it's all about, I reckon, like doing things because that's all I really want to do. Is create historic moments.
Yep.
That people can look back on and say, fuck, I was at that gig, or fuck, what a good gig, or, if there's one person who goes to a show I put on and it inspires them to pick up a fucking guitar or do some vocals and it leads to something else, or it doesn't, whatever it does, I don't know, man. That's what it's, to me, that's everything.
Yeah, just being a part of that rich tapestry.
It is everything. It is everything. Art and in my opinion, art is the only good thing humans have done. I don't give a fuck about anything. It may be the fucking self-jacking off machine. Maybe that's all right too. But the fridge and the fucking cheese and the fucking But seriously, the only good thing we've done is art, and I've got to be. I'm just so happy to be part of it.
Well, I think we should wrap this up before I run out of disk space again, and then I'm going to go order a 100 terabyte external hard drive, so that never fucking happens again.
Yeah, fair.
Thank you so much, Chalky.
No worries. Thanks.
Great chat. Appreciate you making the time, and appreciate you everything you have done for metal and me.
No worries, and thanks for having me. And it's good to know you, mate. So.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to Music Is My Life. This podcast is self-produced by me, Lachlan Watt. I'd like to thank Audio Technica Australia for providing the high quality equipment that has made this possible, as well as Patrick Galvin at Hollowbone Studio for the design. The killer theme music that you are currently hearing was written by the legends TJ Cowgill and Sam Saljuki. Catch you in the next episode.